Alright, welcome back to the channel. Now we're going to be talking about Transformers 1. I missed this in the cinema, so I had to wait for the streaming release. And it came out last night at midnight, and I didn't even wait for it. Just as soon as it came through, had it pre-ordered, watched it straight away. So 15 minutes after release, sitting watching it last night, getting over a bout of food poisoning. So a nice little treat last night to help me get better. Lifelong Transformers fan, so again, devastated that I didn't get to see this in the cinema, but enjoyed this movie a lot. I would highly recommend it now. From what I've heard, as far as the cinema run went, apparently it didn't do that good, but that means nothing. Like, for me as a Transformers fan, I'm going to watch a movie with the Transformers title on it, and check it out for myself. Originally, whenever I heard about this movie coming, this was supposed to be the first part of a trilogy. Now, I could be talking about my backside here, but you know what the internet is like. Some people have been saying that it didn't do well enough to get a sequel, or bring a sequel about. The original plan apparently was this was going to be a trilogy, so Transformers 1, then you get Transformers 2, Transformers 3. I just take it that's the way they're going to title them. But this is the origin story of Megatron and Optimus Prime, and how they become those characters. I don't know why I put Megatron first there, because he should have been second. Optimus Prime and Megatron, the origin story. Orion Pax and D16 been their original names, and in the movie it's one of these ones that I was kind of wary of, because that storyline in particular would be interesting to see. But as if you're a G1 fan, you'll have seen that origin story before. As far as Optimus Prime goes, you already know Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime. So how they're going to do it in this movie, and saying that, like, it wasn't an overly fantastic way they did it in the Generation 1 cartoon, but for what it was, it told a great story in the cartoon. And I was thinking, okay, they're going to expand this into a feature length. It's either going to be hit or miss. And when you're a G1 fan, you're going to be overly protective of the Generation 1 cartoon in particular, like especially those first two seasons, and the character of Optimus Prime in particular, we're all very protective of him. So it was either going to be a hit or a miss, and I have to say now, it was a hit. And the only other thing that we probably were worried about was Peter Cullen not being the voice of Optimus Prime in this movie. Like, Cullen is still there, he's still living. Frank Welker's Megatron, you kind of wanted to hear those two voices in this movie. But I have to say, Chris Hemsworth very, very quickly in this movie won me over as the voice of Optimus Prime. And he doesn't do the classic Peter Cullen voice throughout the movie. It is a younger character. When we get towards the end of the movie, kind of like that 3/4 way mark, you can kind of hear whenever he's Orion Pax is starting to believe in himself as a leader, you can kind of hear Hemsworth kind of bringing in that deeper kind of tone of Peter Cullen's Optimus Prime. And in the last few moments of the movie, of course, Optimus Prime has a voiceover in this movie at the end of it, and as he's going through the voiceover, you can hear his voice that he's been using the whole way through the movie. It kind of gets, as I say, the 3/4 way mark. The voice kind of changes ever so slightly whenever it starts to become more of that leader character. But in that final speech moment in the movie, the last couple of lines, like, he goes full Peter Cullen and the Optimus Prime character. Very, very good, I have to say. Excellent movie. The thing is, in this movie, that kind of caught me by surprise was how they did handle the characters of uh, Orion Pax and D16, because you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is a young Optimus Prime and young Megatron. Um, they're going to be a certain type of character. And it was kind of like the bait and switch in this movie as far as the characters go, because you're expecting Optimus Prime, or Orion Pax, sorry, to be the one with his head screwed on, and straight cut and whatnot, and you're expecting Megatron D16 to be the reckless one, but that's not the case. It's flipped. Orion Pax is very reckless in this movie. He's the one constantly getting D16 in trouble. D16 is the straight shooter in this movie. He does everything by the book, as far from Megatron as you could want him to be. I thought that was a very, very tasty choice to kind of flip those characters at the beginning of the movie. And then as we go through the film and you discover what's happening on Cybertron, the Transformers don't have transformation cogs, and Sentinel Prime as the main leader of the Autobots at this point. Orion Pax, D16, they're miners, mining energon in Cybertron, and Sentinel Prime's constantly out on the surface trying to find the matrix of leadership. But after they decide to get themselves involved in the Icon 5000, I think it was 5000 race, to kind of prove that they're more than meets the eye, they get into trouble. They get sent to the deep levels of waste management, and they come across Bumblebee, and Alita 1 is in this here as well. They all manage to get... She gets demoted at the beginning of the movie because of the behaviour of Orion Pax. So they discover a call was made from the Primes before all the Primes were killed. The Matrix, they think they've discovered where it's at, so they go on a mission to try and find it to prove themselves to Orion Pax. But spoilers, in their journey, they discover that Sentinel Prime is the main villain right here. They find the dead Primes. Alpha Trion is with them. All classic characters from G1 show up in this in some shape or form. He fills them in on what's going on here. Sentinel originally turned the Primes, tried to take the Matrix leadership. Of course, you can only get that if you're worthy of it, so the Matrix disappeared, so nobody knows where it's at. Sentinel Prime, all this time, has been taking the mind energon and giving it to the Quintessons, so they're like the true masters of Cybertron in this movie, is the way he puts it. So excellent movie. Whenever you see the turn in D16 becoming Megatron in this movie, it is so well done. Like, you can't help but feel sorry for Megatron in this movie, because it's a heartbreaking change for Megatron in this. It's just so well done. You start to see that. What goes wrong for Megatron is he had dedicated his entire life to duty, essentially, and to Sentinel Prime and the way that Cybertron has been run. When he discovers what's going on, it's a real stab in the back for him, and he can't forgive Sentinel Prime for his whole life as a lie up to this point. And the straight shooter that D16 was is slowly destroyed as we go through the movie, and he wants his revenge on Sentinel Prime, and he does get it towards the end of the movie. And when he's just about to take him out again, spoilers, Orion Pax tries to step in to stop him, and when Megatron is taking the kill shot, he takes out Orion Pax and blows his arm off. For a swift second, the friendship wins out. He tries to save Orion Pax from falling, into this, into the depths of Cybertron, and you can see the heartbreak in that moment in D16 whenever he's like, why did you do that? Then the full change happens there. He becomes Megatron. He's like, I'm through saving you. And his eyes turn red, he drops Orion into the depths of Cybertron. So the sacrifice that Orion Pax has made throughout the movie hasn't gone unnoticed by Primus, the creator of the Autobots, essentially, a giant transformer that is indeed the planet. And he bestows the Matrix leadership on Orion Pax, turns him into Optimus Prime at the end of the movie. He comes back. By the time he gets back to the surface, D16 has taken on the mantle of Megatron at this point. He's been a big fan of one of the primes, was Megatronus Prime. So he takes the name Megatron from Megatronus Prime. They have their final showdown before Prime wins and banishes Megatron from Iacon. A wonderful, wonderful movie. I think I've talked more than I actually should have talked about this here, but I enjoyed it. I have to say, it hit me in the just that pop culture core that I have as a kid growing up watching the Transformers. Like Generation 1 came out whenever I was a kid. Like it was 84, 85, I think the first season came out. At that stage, like I was 5 or 6 years old whenever Transformers started showing for the first time. So yeah, just sitting watching this movie last night, even though it's a new story, new characters, new versions of the characters, new voice actors in there, like Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan Michael Key, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Fishburne, John Hamm. Even with all the differences, it hit the G1 theme pretty close, and it transported me back to being a kid watching this movie. Got a lot of love for it, I have to say. Now I'm just going to look up here, what have we got, the budget, an estimated budget here. It says, I'm just looking up online here, $75 to $147 million budget. I haven't seen that many times. It could have been a $75 million budget, but expanded to $147 million by the time they were finished. Box office at this point says 129.4. So, if that is 147, if that's accurate, 129, doesn't give much hope for a sequel. But I'm hoping that the Transformers franchise pushes forward with this. This is the sort of movie that the Transformers fans have been crying out for years. Like, we're all looking forward to the live action stuff coming out, but it was very human-centric on there. So we have been wanting for years as a Transformers movie where it's just the Transformers on Cybertron with no humans involved in it whatsoever. We got it in this movie, and it worked. It worked very, very well. And the humour that's in this movie works in a big way. I couldn't recommend it higher if you're a Transformers fan. And even if you're one of the hardcore G1 fans that just hate everything else that's came out after Generation 1, I think you're going to find a lot to love about this movie. And yeah, that's definitely worth a watch. Right, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Until the next one, stay safe. I'll talk to you then.